Coming up, we dive into Kyrie Irving suddenly wanting out of Cleveland, and we discuss the NFL and off-the-field violence. Violence and the NFL have been associated with one another for a pretty long time now.
It's the most violent game we play.
Yeah, I know, but it's also off-the-field stuff too. I cannot name another sport where I can name players who have actually committed suicide, aside from the NFL. And I don't know if that's really separate, but it's a violent thing. But it just makes me think, why are these things solely associated with the NFL? Is it a mental thing? Are these players just mentally more capable of doing these things as opposed to other sports? Because really and truly, like I said, violence is, if you want to talk about a sport and off the field violence, you're talking about NFL.
You're tuned into the New Channel Sports Podcast, the ultimate sports talk podcast.
Welcome to the New Channel Sports Podcast. You're on with Onyi. Sitting across from me is your boy, Trey. What's going down, bro?
Not much, man. What's going on with you?
Nothing much. Just living the life, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to start off the show giving a shout out to Cowboy Nation and Laker Nation like I do. I thought you were.
Are you doing another podcast with somebody else or something? Are you getting to be confused with someone else?
No, man. It's Cowboy Nation, Laker Nation. You know we're back, both of us, so I'm excited. And
Every time you say you're back, I just wonder what is it? You're back from the dead, or
pretty much?
Okay,
pretty much. Winning playoff games, making the playoffs, like all that good stuff.
Okay, I don't know when that happened. I don't know when the last time the Lakers or the Cowboys won a playoff game. So.
It's gonna happen. We're back.
Okay, if you say so. If you say so. So today's topic, we're going to discuss the NFL a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a positive way, though. We're going to discuss NFL off the field issues. And why are these off the field issues, especially domestic violence, more prevalent in the NFL more so than any other league? We had Ezekiel Elliott, who got in trouble for something with his, that brought up again with his
alleged.
Alleged.
Yeah.
Right. So, but why is it seem like this only happens in the NFL? We don't hear about this in the NBA and MLB.
Well, the other leagues have a similar issue
with domestic violence.
Well, yeah, but it's not as prevalent. But one could say, if you want to play devil's advocate, if you will, there are a lot more players in the NFL. So by sheer number, you're going to have more incidences across the board because you're not dealing with a 15-man roster. You're dealing with a 53-man roster. So it's going to be a little bit different when it comes to that. People could point to it and say, the types of injuries these guys have, the medications they have just to cope to be able to play week to week and things like that. But I don't make any excuses for those guys when it comes to that. I mean, I think some of these guys are just playing this barbaric sport week after week. They're practicing it all the time, and they need to grow up, man. I mean, I don't get it. It shouldn't happen, period. But it's happening at an alarming rate across the NFL. And what I like is that the NFL is addressing it. Maybe not to what everyone likes, but they're addressing it and not sweeping it under the rug. And that's something I think that's new.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, there are more players that play in the NFL on a roster as opposed to other leagues. And so that makes it to where there's more of a chance for people to actually get in trouble, and it gets out there. I just find it interesting that the type of trouble the NFL players get themselves into is just specifically different from other leagues. Like in the NBA, for instance, I can't even really just think of any off the court issues with the NBA recently.
They're not that many. And the NBA does a good job. I think all leagues do a good job of getting these young men in front of people who've made these types of mistakes in the past. And so some of these kids adhere to it, some of them don't. Some of them stick around their homeboys that they grew up with and just can't find a way to get themselves out of trouble. They continuously just, get a part of that vicious cycle, and it never stops. But if you think about it, in the NBA, you could be a nickelback who doesn't get, all the playing time in the world, but gets on the field quite a bit, and you walk around because you put on a Dallas Cowboys jersey or Houston Texans jersey or Patriots jersey, like you're the man, and people know who you are. In basketball, there's some guys, if they weren't 6'8", 7 feet tall, that play with the Rockets, they could walk around town and no one would know who they are.
So you think NFL players are more recognizable than NBA players?
Even though they wear a
helmet.
Even though they wear a helmet, I think a lot of times these guys are. And if they're not, they feel like they are. In their mind, you make it to an NFL roster, you're like, you're the man. In football, you've got to play with an edge. In basketball, players aren't as aggressive and as violent as what these NFL players are brought up to be. And they play with this chip on their shoulder. They're not playing with a guaranteed contract. They're really got something to prove every single week. And again, I'm not trying to make excuses for them. It just blows my mind that this is happening at such an alarming rate. To see, Lucky Whitehead from the Cowboys, stealing from a store. Like, come on, man.
He got released.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no room for that. We had another Dallas Cowboy a couple years ago stealing underwear and cologne, and I mean, come on. I mean, the minimum salary in the NFL should be enough to where you're not, even feeling like you have to do. No one should do that, period. But you're got a contract in the NFL. I mean, no, sir. That's just, they feel like a lot of times that they're larger than life, and that sometimes rules don't apply to them because they're NFL players, whether they're a star or not.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah, I hate to see it happen, and for some reason, it happens to my team more than anybody else.
The Cowboys, man.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's frustrating. As a fan, it gets really, really frustrating, and you don't want to see that happen to anybody. You don't want to see anybody doing it, but when it happens to your team over and over and over again, it's just like, come on, man, enough is enough.
Do you think that with the issues that Ezekiel Elliott is having right now, you think that's a sign of things to come? Or do you just think that, he's going to learn his lesson eventually and we're going to forget about all this?
Well, if I'm going to, one thing I'm not going to be, especially when it comes to sports talk radio and our podcast, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. And when Johnny Manziel went on his little thing, I didn't give that guy any passes. I didn't give him any breaks. It's not that he's young and he's a kid and he's going to make these types of mistakes. No excuses whatsoever. Typically, when stuff like this happens over and over and over and over again, there's normally a pattern, and that's just who that person is, and there's nothing you could do to get out of it, i.e. Johnny Manziel, i.e. Vince Young, i.e. Dennis Rodman. Rodman had a much better career than all of them. He's an Hall of Famer, for crying out loud. But you couldn't stop him. He was who he was, and that was just the way that it is. Until you get veteran leadership inside of those clubhouses, there's no way those kids are going to change. No way. And I blame it on the person who was perceived to be the leader of that Dallas Cowboys team for years. Now, back in the day when the White House was happening with the Cowboys and they were doing their thing, you didn't hear about it that much. The NFL covered it up. Probably the Cowboys covered it up. But right now, a lot of these organizations, they don't have that veteran. The leaders of the teams are the young guys, the ones that the fans want to go see. But until you get those veteran leaders inside those clubhouses, these kids just go, wow, man, with all that money, could you imagine? I mean, I'm positive I'd be a model citizen, but imagine making millions of dollars at 21 years old. What would you be doing?
Right. No. I told you in our last show, if I was making millions of dollars at 21, I wouldn't be making any good decisions either. So what you're basically saying, though, is that the Dallas Cowboys are screwed.
With Ezekiel Elliott, if he doesn't get this together, I mean,
because they have no leadership on that team. No veteran leadership anyway. Really. I mean, Dak Prescott, Des Bryant can maybe try to take that role.
Jason Witten is probably the voice of reason on our team. Right. He's probably our leader. Not often do you have the tight end being the leader on that team. I think that was a role that me personally as a fan wanted Tony Romo to grasp. I mean, he's out of the league, so I'm not going to keep bashing him, but I wanted him to take that role.
You try every chance you get.
I do. Des Bryant had his own issues, so he really wasn't doing it. And after that, who do we have? We the leader and the voice of reason on that team has been Jason Witten in my mind for a long time. And Jason Witten, I mean, he can't relate to some of these kids.
Right.
So I think they need to see things a little bit different. But the NFL does a great job with their rookie symposiums and things like that, getting veterans, in front of them, letting them know the types of mistakes that they make. But
they have to, man.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about, it's about violence in general. Violence in the NFL have been associated with one another for a pretty long time now.
It's the most violent game we play.
Yeah, I know, but it's also off the field stuff too. I cannot name another sport where I can name players who have actually committed suicide, aside from the NFL. And I don't know if that's really separate, but it's a violent thing. But it just makes me think, why? Why are these things solely associated with the NFL? Is it a mental thing? Are these players just mentally more capable of doing these things as opposed to other sports? Because really and truly, like I said, violence is, if you want to talk about a sport and off the field violence, you're talking about NFL.
Right. So in my mind, there's one thing that you could point to that leads to that. And it's been a hot topic for the past 10 plus years. And that's the type of injuries that these guys get playing football. And it's a violent sport. It takes a beating on them physically, emotionally, mentally. And I mean, when you go back and look at some of these reports, I mean, that movie Concussion was no joke. And I know it was edited and it was sort of TV and, Hollywood. I get that. But I mean, if you talk to some of these guys who had an opportunity to play in the NFL, that CTE is no joke, right? It's no joke. And I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it. Even though I participate and help with youth football organizations. But, I mean, nowadays, man, they're getting younger and younger and younger. And kids are putting on helmets at 4 or 5 years old, taking a beating, not learning the proper techniques on how to hit people and tackle people. And if you're taking these types of trauma and to your head from the time you're 5 until you're, in your 20s, you're playing at a high level. I mean, like, again, I don't want to make any excuses, but CT's not an excuse. That's the truth. And I think it just causes a different type of, energy that comes to these guys. And
so you think it is a direct correlation with the violence off the field and these football players playing at such a young age going into college and the pros?
Some people feel, again, I don't want the listeners to feel like I'm trying to make excuses for them, but if you think about it, there's other sports out there who's played just as much or if not more worldwide and even in the United States of America, and those kids don't have these issues. All right. It's not a geographical issue. It's not an ethnicity issue because the players in the NBA are predominantly African American. So it's not a racial thing, right? So what is it? What else could it be? The only thing that football players do that basketball players don't is put on the helmet and beat each other and have head-to-head collisions over and over and over and over again, taking extreme amount of medicine just to get back up and play and practice the next week. And, that I don't know. I don't want to make an excuse, but that's the only thing that they're doing that the other players aren't doing.
Yeah. I agree with you. I do.
It's sad. It's really, really sad. And, we talk about it and we want to really like these guys and care for them and wish them the best. But we also like seeing them go out there and play football.
Oh, yeah. It's the best sport in the world. Yeah. I truly feel that. Whenever we get a day closer to the NFL, I just feel a certain kind of way. It's something about the NFL season that has a feeling to it that no other season has. It's like, oh, yeah, this is NFL weather. And I've talked about how quiet the NFL has been this offseason until the recent stuff that happened with Ezekiel Elliott and Foreman of the Texans. Mm-hmm. And it just made me think, like, why is it just the NFL that is associated with these violent acts? We have OJ. I know it's not playing football anymore, but even past players have these kind of violent acts associated with them, both alive and that have passed away.
Right.
No other sport can you say anything like that about. But I just wonder, why is that? And I think I do agree with you to a certain degree that because they play such a violent sport that it's almost in their nature that they've been doing it for at such a young age that eventually they do stuff off the court as well.
Yeah.
I mean, off the field as well.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately, I mean, that's just the way that it is, man. And I think it's just coaching football. You gotta these kids. You gotta kind of play with an edge. You've got to kind of play
absolutely.
That way. And I think sometimes that comes with them off of the field too. And so football players, I mean, even in high school, those guys, no one's gonna mess. I'm a football player. Like you really feel like you're the best of the best. And I mean, I'm one, and I was a football player in high school and different levels, but it wasn't like you feel like invincible. But I think that's what, when you put on those pads and when you take those hits and you deliver those hits, unfortunately, you really do. I think you really start to feel like you're invincible. And these guys just make some terrible decisions, man. Terrible decisions. And unfortunately, they wear my favorite team's colors.
Most of the time.
A lot of the time. I'll take that. We deserve it. Jerry Jones is going to fix that, though, man. We're going to fix that.
Really?
Yeah, we're going to fix that. We're going to clean up our image. Stop taking all the knuckleheads. And
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Man, I think it's karma, man. I think it's karma. We've made some bad decisions. We're giving these guys, and I'm a huge believer of second chances, even third chances sometimes unless they really mess up. But enough is enough, man. That's just no.
So you think them releasing Lucky is a start of something?
No.
They're dropping the hammer?
Jerry Jones is one of those people, and I think that's one of the things that people either love him or hate about him. He wants to win at all costs. But at some point in time, you got to not compromise your integrity, and you not want to compromise, your morals to try and win a championship.
So who did they sign recently where you felt like they compromised that?
I think we've been good recently. I really do. But, I mean, okay, well, I thought that. But then you go and you look at what happened with David Irving, and you look what's going on with almost all of our defense. You name it. A good portion of them have gotten in trouble for either, performance-enhancing drugs, recreational drug use. Like, enough already. I mean, enough. Let's be real here. If anybody knows the NFL's policies and everything else, those guys know exactly when they're getting drug tested. If you just want to smoke weed that bad that you don't care, I mean, come on, man. What type of people are I mean, if you know, I don't condone it, right? But if you know when you're going to get a drug test, a pretty good idea, why would you jeopardize your career, your job, your family, your income, your reputation, your family? I mean, that just blows my mind. And it happens to us more than it happens to anybody else. So while
Conspiracy theory?
No. we're just I don't know what it is in the air in Dallas, man. I don't know what it is. It's just, you're America's team, man. Everybody knows who you are.
Gosh.
I'm just saying, you're America's team. Everybody
you just wanted to put that in there somehow. So
we are. We are. So sometimes, man, I think we just make some bad decisions.
The Patriots aren't the Americans team now?
No, man. No. I mean, how many people hate Tom Brady?
You know how people hate the Cowboys?
Hey, the Patriots, they could be America's team.
They could be.
They could be. They got the best coach in NFL history, man.
Yep. That's
best
absolutely
quarterback
true.
in NFL history.
Yep.
And it's really tough to argue that, but we're back.
Okay.
We're back.
If you say so. So we're going to stick with the NFL here. We're going to discuss a lot of new additions to NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
You have Marshawn Lynch. He's a Raider now. You have Cooks. He's a New England Patriot. You have Adrian Peterson. He's with the Saints. You have Deshaun Jackson. He's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. Which one of these additions do you think is going to have the biggest impact on their new team?
Had Mark Ingram not finished the season as well as he did, I would say Adrian Peterson. But I think he's going to be relegated into like a timeshare situation, even though it'll help the team. I kind of taken a step back and thought about how much he's going to help, because I think Mark Ingram is going to get a good bulk of those carries, unless Adrian Peterson just comes out and goes bananas. So that's what my initial thought was. Then after I saw Brandon Cooks get signed by New England, I was like, that's not fair. Like, that's not fair for because I want my Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. But I just don't see anybody beating the Patriots, and it's not just because of the Brandon Cook signing. Then I'll turn around and I see Deshaun Jackson going to Tampa Bay, and I'm positive that he will probably have, if he can stay healthy.
That's a big if.
He will have the biggest impact on that team because Mike Evans is getting double teamed. That's no way. There's no way around it. They went out and got themselves a tight end, even though Cameron Brate was pretty good last year. They've got themselves a tight end. And Deshaun Jackson, man, please. I mean, Jameis Winston is going to have a field day. He's going to have a field day. And you can't double cover Deshaun Jackson and Mike Evans. Mm-hmm. And Deshaun Jackson's still one of the fastest guys in the NFL. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what Marshawn Lynch does in Oakland.
He's going to have a great year.
I think so too. Oakland. Because when he was in Seattle, they didn't really have a great passing attack in Seattle. And he was still able to rack up some yards.
Yeah.
Now with Derek Carr and Cooper Crabtree, he actually had a breakout year last year.
Really
but
good year.
Those are very good wide receivers. They're going to have a very good passing attack. And Marshawn Lynch is going to have a lot of, opportunities to run the ball where everybody's not stacked in the box.
Right.
And it's going to be very interesting to see how he takes advantage of that. If everything falls into place, they're going to be pretty hard to beat. And then on the other side, Eric Decker going to the Titans, I think that's a big one too.
He's going to help them out tremendously. Decker, I wish we could have gotten with the Cowboys. I don't know where he would, but I guess
you just want everybody, don't you? You want everybody to be a Cowboy.
He's a good guy, though. Eric Decker's a good guy. Eric Decker's going to help Tennessee win some football games, and I think everybody in that NFC South. I mean, that's every game is going to be a very, very competitive game. And you look at some of those guys that you mentioned, like Lynch, but I think there's some teams that maybe not necessarily one free agent that did the trick for them, but there's some teams out there that got a lot better. So I know it's Jacksonville, but
are you really going to mention Jacksonville right now?
I am. I really, really am. But when they signed AJ Bouye and Calais Campbell, that defense wasn't bad, and that defense is going to get better. I'm just being honest with you.
I am disappointed that we lost AJ from the Texans. I really am. But he wasn't Deion Sanders or the next coming of Deion Sanders or anything like that. And you're talking about Jacksonville. I'm tired of year after year we talk about Jacksonville like, okay, they're going to take a step forward this year. Until I mentioned his name, Blake Bortles, and the Jacksonville Jaguars actually do something, I just have no faith in them. I just don't.
I just think that you're going to see that team is going to benefit from the pickups that they had.
They win the AFC South?
No. But
you're not going that far?
They're going to have no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'd pick every team. They might finish last, but that's going to be a really, really tough division.
So that would be an improvement for them finishing last.
They're going to get more wins. They'll get more wins than they had last year, which probably isn't saying much either. But they're going to.
It's not.
They're going to get a lot better.
Washington winning division this year. That'll be
tape.
Crazy. I know, right?
Somebody else who I think is going to have a big year is Terrell Pryor. I hate saying that. I really do. It's not that I don't like him. I like him a lot. But
you talk about him a lot on this podcast. You mention him sometimes.
He's going to be good, man. He's a great. I mean, I thought he played well in Cleveland with their quarterback carousel, but to play with Kirk Cousins and like I'm not. I mean, he's big. He's athletic. He can catch. I mean, he can stretch the field. He can. I mean,
I admire him a lot for him to start off as a quarterback and then make the transition to a wide receiver and kind of put his ego aside and say, you know what? I'm not good enough to be a quarterback, which I didn't really think that, but he did that and he decided to be a wide receiver and he had a pretty darn good year last year.
Quarterbacks are divas, man.
Yeah.
And
so wide receivers, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but with a quarterback.
He went from one diva to another. Diva.
Yeah, but I mean, Tim Tebow isn't in the NFL for sure right now because he's like, I'm a quarterback. I ain't going to do nothing different.
But what other position would Tim Tebow play?
He could possibly play a fullback, maybe a tight end.
There's no fun in playing a fullback.
Why not?
Because
everybody needs one.
Not even. No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
In the NFL today?
Yeah, you need one.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Name another fullback in the NFL.
Kuhn.
Who the hell is that?
He plays with the
Packers?
Packers, yeah.
Does he still play?
Yeah, he plays. I mean, he's a touchdown, stealer on the goal line.
That's the only time they use it on the goal line.
He steals touchdowns on the goal line. I mean, in the NFL, you need him on the goal line. You need him in short yardage. And there's a ton of, I shouldn't say a ton. There's a few good fullbacks in the NFL. And every team's got a couple. Every team's got a couple. So if you think about it, Daryl Johnson with the Cowboys, without him, we're not as good as we were.
But that's a different time, though. Fullbacks were used on a consistent basis. Now fullbacks, like we're saying, they're only used on the goal line, pretty much, and that's it. Tim Tebow's not gonna. He doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but he's not in the NFL for it. He's really not in the NFL for it. So that's his fault. I try and get Tebow in the line on the show as much as I can too.
Yeah, there are certain people you like to mention on this podcast.
LeGarrette Blount should have been a fullback. He's a big running back.
Where's LeGarrette Blount at right now?
Garrett Blount went to Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia. Yeah.
He's going to help them out too.
Yeah, a little bit. I think he'll help Philadelphia more than Latavius Murray was going to help out Minnesota.
You think so?
Yeah, I was big on Latavius when he first got his start in Oakland, but I think it says a lot that Oakland just let him go, and they're looking towards a running back that was out of the league for an entire year.
Well, but you bring in Oakland's very own. He's going to put people in the stands.
Right. I understand that.
And in Carson Wentz, not only is he going to have LeGarrette Blount, but he's going to get Alshon Jeffrey if he could stay healthy. He's going to help that team as well. So
no, Alshon Jeffrey, if he can stay healthy, he is arguably a top 10 wide receiver.
Oh, he could be easy
in the league, easily.
Easy,
yeah.
He could be. They're going to have some weapons over there as well. But I think this season, one that people fail to mention and won't really talk about that much. And I got to check and make sure if Jared Cook is still there. But Martellus Bennett going to the Packers, that's going to be huge. Because I love Martellus Bennett.
He was with the Patriots last year, right?
Yeah. Houston native. And I believe he's out of A-Leaf, Houston. And he's going to help him out very well.
No, Aaron Rodgers is going to help him out a lot.
Both. Yeah, I think it's going to be both. I really do think it's going to be both. There's going to be some moving and shaking going around. I think these games are going to be a lot more exciting than what we thought before. But the Patriots lose Martellus Bennett, but they pick up Dwayne Allen. So they're not and they have Rob Gronkowski.
They're always really good at replacing parts.
Yeah.
For the most part. Even when Tom Brady went down that one time in his career, it was Matt Castle. They still went 10-6 that year. So
last year the same thing. They went 3-1 without him to start his suspension.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be all right. But yeah, man, we're in for a treat this NFL season.
So who makes the biggest impact though? Which player is gonna make the biggest impact on their new team?
That's a real tough one. Who do you pick?
I think I'm gonna pick Marshawn Lynch. I think he's going to be the biggest impact on that team, on that Raiders team. Even though I think Cooks is going to be, he's going to be big for that Patriots team. Is that they have so many weapons. I really don't think it really matters. I think if Marshawn Lynch comes in there and takes advantage of what Derek Carr can do in that passing attack, it's going to be huge for the Oakland Raiders. So I think he's going to have the biggest impact on that team. And I think that the year off, you're going to see some fresh legs out there. You're going to see fresh-legged beast mode out there. So I think he's going to be the biggest impact on that team.
That's a pretty safe bet. But since you went with him, I'm going to stick with Deshaun Jackson. And I say this because you might not see it in his statistics, but you will definitely see it in Jameis Winston's statistics and Michael Levin's statistics because you cannot. Who's going to play man-to-man with Deshaun Jackson? I know some teams are going to try it, but you have to shade over Mike Evans. You have to, because if not, he's going to have a field day. But I think that's going to make teams think about what they're doing, and I think Deshaun Jackson's going to eat.
No, I think I agree with you because Deshaun Jackson really hasn't had for the most part, you can argue that he's always been the number one wide receiver on this team.
Pretty much.
Right now, he's clearly number 2.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that's going to be a huge advantage for him.
Yeah, that's gonna help him out a lot this year. But they've got some weapons, and they're going to be well rounded as a team. Picking O.J. Howard out of Alabama as a tight end. If that kid is healthy, that was a steal in that draft. Trouble, man, just trouble all the way around. So I can't wait to see what happens here. This is exciting.
Oh man, football season.
Almost here.
What, 44 more days?
But who's counting?
I'm counting. I cannot wait. Let's talk a little bit of NBA. NBA action.
You want to talk about the Lakers?
No, that's a negative. But I want to discuss this Kyrie Irving thing a little bit more. So it looks like the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to sign Derrick Rose. So basically, Kyrie Irving is just at the door, waiting to leave. He just doesn't know what team he's going to go to. Kyrie Irving is basically upset that Cleveland entertained the idea. But do you think that he's overreacting to that? I know there's a lot of other components in there. LeBron might not be there anymore and different stuff like that. But do you think that he's overreacting to the idea that Cleveland wanted to trade him in the first place?
Yeah. But I think, okay, let me take that back. Maybe he's not overreacting. He has a right. If you're that player for that team, without a doubt, their second best player, somebody who hit the biggest shot in franchise history today, kind of got over Craig Elo's shot against Michael Jordan. Kyrie Irving's shot was the biggest shot anybody's ever made in Cleveland basketball history. You're the second best player on the team. You're an all-star. You're one of the best players in the world still. And if you can't be consulted about that, if you got to hear rumors, I mean, the organization was already in turmoil, not having a general manager and things like that. I think that's something that Kyrie Irving probably deserves to, hey man, look, you might hear about this. Might be what happening. And maybe his agent knew, but I think you don't want to hear about that stuff in the media as a player, and especially as a young kid. Like, hey man, just show me enough love and let me know what's up. But when you hear about it, secondhand, and I think most players would be upset about that. If LeBron found out that the Cavs were entertaining trade offers about him, he wouldn't be happy.
Well, players are always dangled for trade bait. All of them, except for the LeBrons and the Kobes, players like that. Kyrie Irving is not on that level. He's not a LeBron. He's not a Kobe.
You don't tell the second best player on your team that, hey, we might be entertaining trade offers. Don't worry about it. You'll be the first to know.
There is a second best player on all 32 teams
and
in
you don't
the
think
NBA.
They all deserve that heads up?
No.
So you should be like Boogie Cousins doing an interview in New Orleans.
Well, you're talking about Boogie Cousins, okay? How about the Lakers' second best player? Who's
right
their
now?
second best player?
Not include. I mean, if we don't want to credit Lonzo Ball,
Who's Sacramento Kings' second best player
right now?
Right now,
maybe De'Aaron Fox.
Whoever it is. I mean,
you tell him. I believe you tell him. I honestly believe that. So you mean right now, Paul George doesn't need to be told that they're shopping him from OKC?
No, especially if you're going through trade talks with a team, right? You don't know whose name is going to pop up. You really don't. So basically what you want me to do every day is tell players on my team, which they should already know, is that you could possibly be traded today. Unless your name is LeBron.
No, I don't need you to tell them every day. But you've got, I mean, you're just coming off of making another NBA Finals, right? And Kyrie Irving wasn't the sole reason, or, I mean, he wasn't even, I think, a big reason they lost. I thought he played fairly well. But so Paul George just got to OKC. It's okay for him just to trade him without giving him a heads up, letting him know, hey, you might be hearing this in the tabloids, or you might.
Well, like I said, it just depends on what the talks are about. It just depends on what the talks are about. Those things aren't going to happen. Okay. Chris Paul is not going to get traded like days later after he's become a Rocket.
So a year from now, Rockets don't owe him that.
Certain players.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So
now, I said though, I put LeBron in that category.
So Chris Paul is on LeBron's status?
No, he's not. He's right, especially since he's not playing for his hometown.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm serious. I'm being serious. If you are having trade talks with someone, let's say Cleveland is having trade talks with the Rockets about trading LeBron James. For some reason, LeBron James' name comes up. Then they're possibly going to tell LeBron James, okay, so this would happen. Your name came up in trade talks with the Rockets. Even if they tell him that, or they told Kyrie that, Kyrie's feelings are still going to get hurt. The fact that his name came up at all is what's hurting Kyrie's feelings right now.
It'd be different if I'm, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm like saying, hey, we want Kyrie Irving for this person, this person, this person. That's one thing. My feelings are going to get up.
And that might have been what happened. But Cleveland might not have been the ones to initiate it. It's like they came up to them and was like, okay, so we have Kyrie. Do you want Kyrie? That didn't happen. I'm pretty sure the other team brought his name up.
So you don't think for one moment that before Jimmy Butler got traded, Kyrie Irving was willing to, he said he would have liked to play with Jimmy Butler in Chicago. Jimmy Butler wanted to go to Cleveland. They're good. They're friends. So you don't think for one second that when that possibility came up, because this Jimmy Butler to Cleveland thing came out pretty early, right? And then all of a sudden, you don't think that he talked to LeBron, talked to Kyrie and said, hey, man, this is what they might be thinking about doing. And then all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to go there. Chauncey Billups like, never mind. I don't want to go there. Paul George is like, he's not going there either. Right? So they all wanted to do that. And he was brought up probably time after time after time after time. And I'm not defending him because he's a Dookie. Shout out to Coach K. But I think he deserves more than that. And I'm not even a huge Cleveland fan. I'm not a fan of Cleveland at all. But I think he deserves, hey man, look, we've fielded several calls about you.
Okay, so let's say they do that. Let's say they give him a heads up. Just so you know, your name is being mentioned.
They're inquiring about you, not us offering you as trade bait.
But that still might hurt his feelings. He still might get butthurt by that.
No, I don't think so.
So what do you tell him? We tell him, hey, they're inquiring about you, but we're not going to trade you.
Yep.
Is that what you tell him?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so in the process of doing that, and whatever other teams on the other end talking about him, you're like, you know what? Why not just do that initially? Once they bring his name up, say, oh no, we're not interested in trading Kyrie Irving. That's not what we're going to do. There's no reason for us to go back and tell Kyrie Irving, just so you know, they brought your name up.
Okay,
that's going to make him feel a certain kind of way anyway.
And how did that work out for him this time?
For who, Kyrie?
Yeah. No, how did it work out for the Cavs now? How did it work not telling him? How did it work with him not knowing?
That's what I'm saying, though. All players are brought up in trade negotiations. All of them.
And I'm pretty sure
if I am the Sacramento Kings and I'm calling the Rockets, I'm going to just see, hey, Harden, is James Harden available? What do the Rockets do? Hell no, he's not available. I would be pissed off if I was Daryl Morey. Why even bring him up and then squash it? I'm not going to go to James Harden and be like, just so you know.
No.
The Sacramento Kings brought up your name.
Well,
then James is going to be thinking, well, are you entertaining it?
So do you want him to hear it on ESPN? You want to see it? You want him to see it on Twitter?
But James Harden and other players are probably not going to be butthurt about it. They're going to know, oh, the Rockets didn't bring it up
because the other team players, they have some security there.
And Kyrie Irving is not a franchise player.
So you're saying that's why they're not going to feel some type of way about that. But your second best player, how many people are willing to give up their
You keep on saying second best player. On all the 32 teams in the NBA, there is a best player and a second best player.
Absolutely.
And just because you have a best player and a second best player doesn't mean they're not allowed to be traded or entertained.
I didn't say you're not allowed to trade them.
But you keep on calling them the second best player.
So pay that man
any team that LeBron James plays for. The other player is going to be the second best player.
Right. So pay that man some respect and say, look, we fielded 5 calls this week. Every single one of them, for some reason, wanted you. We declined every single last one of them.
You don't have to do that.
I'm just telling you, I would do that. If you wanted him, if you were shopping him, if you were considering trading him, then you don't, and then you lose him anyway. So pick your poison. Which one do you want?
He's overreacting. You do not, even if you have one more year with LeBron, the best player on the planet, you do not lead the organization. Even if LeBron is a drama king or whatever they're calling right now, you do not leave that organization.
LeBron is a drama king. Allegedly.
That's fine. That's fine. You don't leave that team. Don't you, like you made the point you made the other day, what it reminds you of, Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
Don't you think that Kobe and Shaq wish that they stayed together?
In hindsight, yeah.
Yeah.
In hindsight.
Yeah. Don't you think that Pippen wishes that somehow, some way he could play the rest of his career with Michael Jordan?
I'm sure. I'm sure he does.
So this is not, I don't think this is a good look for Kyrie. I just don't. No matter what the organization is going through, if you're playing with the best player on the planet, you stay with that best player on the planet. Now, if Kyrie just wishes that he could run a team by himself and play and be the man somewhere, that's one thing. But the teams he's naming, he wants to go to what? San Antonio? He's not going to be the man there. Kawhi Leonard is the man there. Okay. He wants to go to Miami. He can be the man there, but they're not going to win anything in Miami either. Now, if he goes to Minnesota, he still might not be the man there. Jimmy Butler and Towns.
They'll be dangerous.
They would be ridiculous over there. So if he wants to go to Minnesota, that's fine. But still, he's not going to win a championship in Minnesota either.
So let me tell you something. According to my homie, Stephen A. Smith, he was speaking on his podcast Monday, and Stephen A. Smith quoted sources in LeBron James' camp about how bad things have gotten between Kyrie and LeBron. And I quote, "If Kyrie Irving was in front of LeBron James right now, LeBron James would be tempted to beat his ass." That's what the source told Stephen A. Smith. This is a lot bigger than basketball. This is a lot bigger than him not knowing he was going to be traded. There's no way that LeBron James would be willing to fight Kyrie Irving over what? Over what? So when this all broke, I told y'all something happened. Something is going on that we don't know about yet. And
do you think LeBron James's mother is involved in this?
I hope not.
No? Okay.
I haven't read about Delonte West.
Okay.
I
just want to make sure that that's going on.
So now, allegedly, LeBron James is eager and excited and telling Cleveland to make this trade. Cleveland's got to do this now because, one, it might get LeBron to stay a little bit longer, especially if he gets some more people on the team. But he is pushing for this trade to happen now. So if he's looking for a future without Kyrie, you can't be saying this type of stuff. And according to ESPN.com's Ramona Shelburne and Brian Windhorst, Irving, like someone on this podcast said last week, is tired of being Robin to James's Batman. Do you remember anybody who said that? Like, did somebody say that? I don't remember.
Who said that?
That Kyrie Irving was, I don't know. I don't know.
Shannon Sharp said that?
But yeah, he's tired of that. And so that's the problem. And that's where, and there's a lot more going on. And I think once this is all said and done, I don't know if it'll be in a book. I don't know if it'll be on ESPN, but we're going to find out what's really going down and why these fools fell off. And it's not right. They're going to regret it. They will regret it. Kobe and Shaq regret it for sure. We have at least 3 more championships. Kobe will retire with 8 championships.
Yeah. Even with you saying that, there's going to be a level of regret, but Kobe and Shaq were on the top of the mountain. Jordan and Pippen were on the top of the mountain. LeBron and Kyrie,
they were right there.
They're right there, but they still have to get over the hump, and that hump is the Golden State Warriors. So I do feel like Kyrie is making a mistake. I think but like you said, there has to be something underlining here that we're missing. Because I just don't get it. It doesn't add up.
Not at all.
It just doesn't.
You can't go from the NBA Finals, dapping each other up and everything else to this. Like,
then it's not even like, why do this now?
Right.
You seen all this movement happening, and then all of a sudden you're just like, I want to trade.
Yeah.
And LeBron's just cool with it. He's like,
And he wants it to happen.
He wants it to happen now.
Yeah. But the difference with Kobe and Shaq, though, after I had a chance to think about that, at least we knew they didn't get along. Like it was out there. Like, but now Kyrie and LeBron, they've been hiding this, obviously, and hopefully they can. They're not. He's not going to go back to Cleveland. Not now. Not now. Stephen A. Smith's coming out saying he wants to, whoop Kyrie. I mean, how do you go back and play for them? And what could it take? What would it take for you? And what would it take for you to say, you know what? Forget this. I want to whoop his butt. Like, and he was your teammate for the past, what? How long has he been back in Cleveland? 4 years? 3 years?
Like I said, bro, are you sure LeBron James' mother is not involved in this?
Man, I don't know.
Because I don't remember exactly what happened with West. But did he want to whoop West's ass? Did he want to whip his ass?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I never heard him say that.
I never heard him say that.
Yeah.
So for him to want
something's going down.
It just doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't. This whole NBA offseason has just been, it's almost damn near been a soap opera.
Yeah.
Really and truly. Like, you never know what's going to happen.
No.
There should be a catchphrase for this NBA offseason.
What would it be?
As the world turns, or as the NBA turns, or something like that. Because it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because once something ends, you can't predict what's going to happen next. I couldn't predict to you that Kyrie Irving was going to want to be traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's crazy.
And they were just, they're 2 years off from winning the championship together. I talk about LeBron's block all the time. I really do. That shot that Kyrie made was huge. And after they won that championship, most of the talk was, oh, LeBron brought a championship home to Cleveland. Kyrie really didn't get that much kudos for the championship. Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
I thought he got some kudos.
Yeah, he got some. Yeah, but I think that he was going to ride off into the sunset, and he was going to, get the praise and get put on the shoulders and cut down the nets but it was LeBron. It was all about LeBron coming back to Cleveland, LeBron delivering the championship, LeBron's MVP. Like, that's just, I think.
But he's LeBron,
bro,
and that's his hometown.
Bro, when you get Adam Silver coming out on the Rich Eisen show today, he quoted him as saying, I feel bad for whatever's going on in Cleveland. The commissioner of the NBA feels bad for what's going on. There's a lot more than what we know, and I think we need to be patient and figure out what it is, because the way this is working is sad, man. Like, I just can't see Kyrie wanting to do this, but it's going to happen. There's no coming back from this. No coming back from this. And unfortunately, I think we've seen the last days, and I'd be shocked if this week passed and he still was a Cavalier. He's not going to stay there.
No, he's not. He's gone. Once the king says it's time for you to go, it's time for you to go. So, I just don't understand how it got to this point and so quickly.
So can you blame Kevin Durant for LaMarcus Aldridge not wanting to be in San Antonio, of all places, and Kyrie Irving wanted to leave Cleveland? Chris Paul left Los Angeles. Like, he basically gave them an ultimatum as well.
It's just the way the NBA is, though.
Why?
It's just, one, it's egos. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were moments away from beating the Golden State Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
They had a 3-1 lead on them. And Kevin Durant still decides to leave Russell Westbrook. We kind of, in a sense, downplay the chemistry that these teams have and how well they get along.
Yep.
But that's a big deal. It really is. And it happens all the time. Look at James Harden and Dwight Howard. There were some rumblings that they just didn't get along.
Kobe and Dwight Howard, too.
Okay? So this is not a new thing. It really isn't.
Right.
It's just that, like, how much does it really matter if you're playing with the best player on the planet? That's kind of what I'm looking at right here. LeBron James is the best player on the planet. You won a championship with him. But you're done. I want to leave. Yeah. At first, I thought maybe it was, like I told you, it's because that he was being dangled around as trade bait. But the more we talk about this, it's LeBron James. He wants to leave because of LeBron James.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
The second best player in the world.
What?
He wants to leave because of the second best player in the world.
God. Why do that?
I'm just saying. Kyrie Irving wants to leave Cleveland because of the second best player in the world. Who doesn't want to play with the second best player in the world? Like, I don't understand. You think anybody would ever say something like that about Kevin Durant?
Not wanting to play with Kevin Durant?
Yeah. How could you
Russell Westbrook?
Allegedly, he wanted him. Allegedly.
Well, as soon as he left, he's like, okay, then.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Speaking of Westbrook, before we wrap up, if Melo goes to OKC, how far down the list does that push the Rockets?
Man. I just hope Melo's going to go to OKC, man. Because that just came up, today? That would piss me off. I'd be pissed. The Rockets need to do everything in their power to get Carmelo Anthony.
So let me ask you this. If Melo goes to OKC and Kyrie goes to San Antonio, what are you going to do?
Man.
What are you going to do?
Because obviously the Rockets would be, at best, the fourth best team.
Maybe.
In the West. At best.
Yeah.
Hey, man. I'm still right with the Rockets.
Does Paul, Ariza, and Harden beat Melo? I'm sorry.
No. Whatever you're getting ready to mention, no. It just doesn't happen. That if Melo were to team up with Westbrook and Paul George, they would be anywhere from a 5 to 3 seed.
Do you think they could be 5 seed?
Yeah, that's because of chemistry. I think it'll take a while for them to actually mesh together. You know, like any of your team, even with Golden State, when LeBron joined Miami, it took them a while to mesh. I think it's going to take a while for them to mesh.
So you don't think their time on Team USA and none of that type of stuff that they played each other?
I don't think it's different. It's different. Yeah, I do think it's different. But as soon as that team does mesh, they're pretty freaking dangerous.
Is it going to take time for Harden and Paul to mesh with one basketball? Unless they change the rule. Maybe for the Rockets, since they shoot so many threes, maybe they could change the rule and let them have 2 basketballs at the same time.
What are you talking about right now?
I'm just maybe that would help because they're going to need some time to mesh too, right?
I just don't know where you come up with these things sometimes. 2 basketballs
maybe
on the court.
Because what are they going to do with one basketball? What is Harden and Paul going to do with one basketball?
They'll be just fine, man.
You think so?
Yes. Chris Paul's going to make Harden a better basketball player.
Over or under 53 games? Wins.
Blah. I don't know. Over.
They're going to win more than 53 games.
Over.
Okay, I'm going to put this in my calendar right now. Rockets win over 53 games. I think we need to do a poll for that. I think we need to do a poll.
Well, let's wait to see what happens first. Let's wait to see exactly where Melo goes.
He's not coming to Houston.
Dude, where's he going to go? He's going to go to OKC? You really believe that?
I'm telling you, that's where he's going to go. He's going to go to OKC. Houston can make it happen.
He's not leaving.
Ryan Anderson wasn't enough.
I don't know where he's going. But if I had to bet right now, I think he's dead set on going to Houston. Okay. Like, I don't think either he stays in New York or he's going to Houston.
Okay. So, how about this? 25 push-ups. That's it? On the, without 50 push-ups without stopping on air. I'm going to talk to the and let them listen to you do your 50 push-ups on air if he goes to OKC, and I'll do the same if he goes to the Rockets. How about that?
Okay, cool.
Okay,
I can't wait to see you do his push-ups. If Kyrie Irving goes to San Antonio and Carmelo Anthony goes to OKC, I'm gonna be pissed, bro. Like, no,
you should see the look on your face
because I'm gonna be pissed. I am gonna be so pissed because. Remember when we talked about Gordon Hayward starting to domino?
Right.
It'll be like Chris Paul started the whole domino effect of everything.
Yeah.
You know, I was so excited. If you guys want to go back to the Chris Paul podcast. When Chris Paul goes to Houston and listen to my voice, I was so excited because I thought that was going to be the start. I thought that was going to be the start of Chris Paul and maybe Paul George, Gordon Hayward, Melo, somebody. The whole excitement was that we were going to get another superstar with Chris Paul.
Darren Williams is going to come.
Darren Williams hasn't been a all-star since 2000 and what? 10?
Y'all couldn't even get Swaggy P. Swaggy P
we didn't want Swaggy P.
Swaggy P's gonna get some big minutes in Golden State, man. This is my hometown now, so I want to see them do well. I really, really do. But Chris Paul, I think the Rockets made that move thinking that more people would come here. So I think they have to be all in on Carmelo. But if he doesn't come,
they're going to be basically where they were at last year.
You're not better.
Yeah, they're not better.
You're not better.
And it's because the other teams in the West were able to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, OKC is, if they get Carmelo, they're better.
Minnesota's going to be much better.
Minnesota's going to be better. I don't know if they're going to be better than the Rockets. That team has to mesh too. I just say I don't know. It's up in the air. Minnesota could be so what? So you're saying Rockets are a 5 seed right now?
So with Rubio, Wiggins,
did you
Towns,
just say Rubio?
Yeah. With Rubio, Wiggins, Towns, and Butler, the Rockets are better than that?
They could be, yeah.
Can we change your new name to Homer? Can you change your name on the show to Homer?
I didn't say definitely. I didn't say definitely yes. I said they could be better.
That's such a weak move. That's a weak move.
What?
I got it in there. That's a weak move. You've got to say right now. If they were going to play a basketball game right now,
I have to see the Minnesota Timberwolves play together.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
They have all those new pieces. I can't just say on paper they look fantastic.
I wish you could take a lie detector test right now. That thing would be going crazy right now. That thing would be going crazy. You do not believe that. So you mean at this moment,
yes. At this moment, yes, I do believe that.
You just made my day.
Don't get me okay, look, this is what I'm saying.
Made my day.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if the Minnesota Timberwolves were ranked higher or seated higher than the Rockets next year.
Okay.
All I'm saying is right now, I have more confidence in Chris Paul and James Harden than I do in that Ricky Rubio and are they still there? Yeah. Ricky Rubio's not there anymore.
Where did Rubio go?
It's Jeff Teague over there.
Jeff Teague.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
That's even better.
It is.
It's even better. Rubio's in
you even
Utah.
say Ricky, he's in, well, I don't know where he's at, but Ricky Rubio's not there anymore.
Yeah. So Jeff Teague's even better.
Look, I still have to see that team play together. Jeff Teague, Ricky Rubio, Ronald McDonald, whoever's back there at point guard, I still have to see that team play together before I can give you a definite answer on the seedings. Okay, it's not. How far is it for basketball season?
Homer.
A lot of things can happen between now and then. Okay,
that's so sad. Teague, Wiggins, Butler, and Towns. You're saying Chris Paul.
So what are you saying right now? That they're number 1 seed?
I didn't say that.
So what seed is Minnesota then? You give me a seed.
Minnesota will be a top 6 seed.
Wow.
They'll be a top 6. They weren't even in the
if you're telling me they're going to be a top 6, then you're thinking that they might be better than Rockets too. Then
yeah,
I mean that the Rockets might be better than them.
88 days. 80. It's not that far. 88 days.
So what are the Rockets seed next year?
They'll be a top 6 team. I'm thinking the Rockets.
Minnesota will be a top 6
Minnesota will be about maybe a 4 or 5, and Rockets will probably be a 6. They'll be ranked higher than Rockets. How about that?
Look, I'm not. Look,
you don't like that answer?
No.
Cash me outside.
Minnesota damn well could be a higher seed than the Rockets. Okay. They could, but I'm not going to count the Rockets out either.
I'm not counting them out. I'm just saying that y'all didn't get better.
They didn't.
Who didn't get better?
The Rockets. They didn't get better. They didn't.
So what were you last year?
They were a 3rd seed.
A 3 seed?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all didn't.
The best they can do probably is a 3 seed next year. That's the best they could do. That's the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that ludicrous?
No. Yeah. Yeah.
How? Yeah. We don't know where Kyrie's going. We don't know where Melo's going. Look, I will have more definite answers for you when we figure out where those 2 players are going.
Okay.
Okay. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. But 53 games, over 53 games.
If they get Carmelo Anthony.
I'll wait. I'm going to wait till September and get that answer from you when it's closer to their training camp to start because I think you're crazy. You have officially lost it.
You lost it a while back. You definitely lost it a while back. I don't know why I agreed to do this podcast with you sometimes. When I look across here sometimes, I'm like, why did I agree to do this with you? Like, I don't understand what I was
What would
thinking.
you do without me? You don't know what you would do without me.
I would have probably a better co-host.
You'd be miserable. You'd be miserable. I'm
miserable right now.
I'm like your voice of reason. I'm like the person that's going to help you realize that, no, the Texans are terrible. Yes, Savage is going to be my starting quarterback. No, the Rockets aren't going to win the NBA Finals anytime soon.
I've never said the Rockets were going to win the NBA Finals.
They might not win in your lifetime.
They might not.
They probably won't.
It is what it is.
You want to slap me right now? You want to treat me like LeBron wants to treat Kyrie right now?
I want to whoop your ass. Yes, I do.
That's like workplace violence.
Oh, gosh. I'm a free agent. I'm a co-host free agent. If there's anybody else that's doing a podcast, I would like to be traded to that podcast. Preferably sports.
Hey, all we need is a 6-pack of Angry Orchard and some Skittles.
What else can we talk about? Is that it?
Man, I think that's it, man. By the time you wake up, Carmelo's going to be in OKC.
Please let it happen again.
I might need to bring you some drinks next show.
Please.
You might have to have a drink, man.
Man, if
not a protein shake either, like a real drink.
Some alcohol. Oh, guys. We really enjoy you guys listening to the podcast. Please subscribe to our show. Leave us some comments, 5 stars. Let us know what we're doing right. We do this for y'all. We do it because we enjoy it. Leave us some comments. Let us know what we're doing right. Maybe give us some ideas on topics we can talk about.
Cowboy Nation, Laker Nation, we out, baby.
I'm going to really edit that part out this time.
We live, baby.
Thanks for listening to the New Channel Sports Podcast. Leave comments. Please rate the podcast with 5 stars. And don't forget to subscribe. Check out the podcast daily for sports news and scores. Thursdays for the take of the week. And every Tuesday and Saturday for discussions on hot sports topics.